another big battle going on, and this one's allegedly going to come down on October 17th. Now, that's a floating date. Jack Lew, the Treasury Secretary, said on October 17th, we're going to run out of money. We're going to run out of debt. We have the ability to raise that limit. It doesn't necessarily have to. Take a listen to Jack Lew over the weekend, fear-mongering, and then Rand Paul's response. Listen.
The consequences are immediate, and they're very bad. Congress needs to act.
Would it be catastrophic?
Chris, I am telling you that I know the direction. I know the direction is bad. There are a range of how bad. It is not responsible, it is irresponsible, and it is reckless to take that chance.
I think it's irresponsible of the president and his men to even talk about default. There's no reason for us to default. We bring in $250 billion in taxes every month. Our interest payment is $20 billion. Tell me why we would ever default.
Okay, Dana, here are the numbers. We went to the brain and we crunched the numbers for 10 months in 2013. We're going to take in $225 billion per month. Servicing our debt, which would be the only reason that would cause America to default is if we didn't do that, is only $24 billion. There's $200 billion more left over after that.
As I understand it, one of the things that Treasury what Treasury does is look at the day-to-day revenue projections, not the month-long. But you have to kind of ask yourself, is this any way to run a business or a country that you're worried that the American economy hinges on $24 billion to be able to pay our debt? That, I think, is going to feed into this. The shutdown story and the debt limit story are going to come together. And when there is something that is worked out, they'll do it together. I have a question about the storyline that Jack Lew, when he was talking about the debt ceiling, what I don't understand from the Republican side as well is, so the shutdown was supposed to cause pain in order to get people to do something. Right. But the pain has not arrived. And so it will... Can
I push back on it a little bit? President Obama likes the pain. He's pushing for maximum shutdown pain.
There is pain every day.
When you talk about the ocean, down in Florida, they closed the portion of the ocean. To Memorial.
Throwing people out of their homes.
Amber Alert.
Right,
yeah,
right. I agree that they're trying to do that. What I don't think anybody has quite thought through is that the American people are sort of like, what is all the fuss about? Because they haven't seen it yet. But the markets could react and could react very negatively, and that's when you need action on Congress.
But you know, we did see the pain. We did see the pain with sequester if you're in the military.
Right.
We didn't see it with the rest of the country. So you could say, I don't see the massive pain. The problem is the president oversold the pain.
But that's like population specific. So what we're saying is like the rest of America to really understand what's going on, that this is, you know, a bad situation. And right now they're holding firm.
If you don't think the pain for a small business is not being able to process your loans, or for students to not be able to process their loans, or for any number of programs that are not being serviced in America that help poor people, if you don't think that's pain, then I guess you have a different view of pain.
But there's not an overwhelming storyline that has been produced that is going to spur action.
That's like an electric shock,
and it's going to run into the debt ceiling.
But your math is, again, man, we got to get you into Phoenix University.
It's the real math, Bob. It's not the Obama math.
What do you do about the deficit?
Or the Beckel math.
What about the deficit? You said that there's 250. You say 250 a month, right? Is that what you're saying?
$250 billion.
$225 billion are the federal receipts between taxes, fees, and licensing. We take in $225 billion per month.
And how much do we spend?
Servicing that debt is $24 billion.
Okay, and then how much do we spend above that?
Well above that, but therein lies the problem. There is why you have.
You want to just cut all that off?
Here's what you do, Bob. Here's what it is. In an example that you may or may not understand. You get your paycheck every week from Fox, right? The first thing you do is you pay your mortgage, right? The second thing you do is you pay your electricity bill. The third thing you do is you pay your
water, garbage,
phone, water, etc.
Car cable.
About the 10th or 11th, you start paying, in my case, a bar tab or my restaurant tabs. But if you don't have enough money to pay for that, you say, look, I'm going to get paid next too. Just hang good.
Okay, because since we know where it is, then what you ought to say is, let's not pay Social Security recipients, let's not pay Medicare.
We do that, Bob. Those are mandatory payments.
Okay, well then you got mandatory payments, so you've got to do that. There's not enough money to be taken out of discretionary spending to get you to what you're talking about. There's just not.
Well, actually, there is.
Where? How?
The discretionary spending is about a third of all of our spending, right?
So two-thirds. And that includes air traffic controllers, right?
Two-thirds comes from non-discretionary, right?
Excuse me. You want to pick out of those that one-third? You want to pick out which ones you want to cut?
Until they figure out their act in D.C.
Okay.
Or you could also fight for reform to the entitlement programs that would actually allow you to have more revenue.
Right.
That was the Paul Ryan plan.
It's a better business.
And Paul Ryan are evidently working on something behind the scenes
There's
right
going to be
now.
a deal. There's going to be a deal on the 17th.
But that's the point. Use this as a unique opportunity to make some cuts that are much needed so that we can work better as a more efficient government.
We're going to have to leave it there. That was one kick butt A block, you guys.